What's going on, YouTube? Welcome back to another video of the Point After Podcast, our final Week 9 preview video. Ole Miss versus Auburn, Lane Kiffin versus Brian Harsin. Probably the second best SEC game this week outside of Georgia, Florida. What do you think, Matt?
Definitely agree. I think when, Lane Kiffin said several weeks ago, get your popcorn ready, I think he was referencing this game. I think this was the one he was talking about.
Yeah, I'm probably more excited to watch this one than I am Georgia, Florida, because I think this one's more evenly matched than that one is. There's a lot of hype around that because a lot of people think Florida is going to upset Georgia. I don't see it. I talked about that in that video if you want to go check that one out. But Auburn versus Ole Miss in Jordan-Hare Stadium, 6 o'clock on Saturday night. Should be a fun one. What do you think?
Being in Jordan-Hare definitely helps. For me, I think Auburn is one of those teams like we talked about in another video. They're a team that's been trending upward. They're still sitting, if I'm not mistaken, they are still sitting in position to win the West.
Yeah. If they win this and then beat Alabama, or if Alabama loses another one, then they would go to Atlanta.
Yeah. So I think Harsin knows that. I know that's a pretty big position to be in first year. So I think was it last year or 2 years ago when Auburn lost to Tennessee? Was it last year?
I want to say last year.
Either way, kind of the same scenario here, towards the same week in the year or on the schedule. So Auburn needed to win that game against Tennessee to still be in a tie for first place with Alabama or LSU, whoever it was at the time, in the West, and they lost that game. So I think the Auburn community knows that. One of my Auburn friends had talked about that. I think this is a big game for everybody. And, I think this is just going to rely on the efficiency. If Auburn wants to win this game, they're going to have to be efficient. And when I say that, I don't think Bo Nix is going to have as many, Heisman-like plays like he had against LSU. But 11 drops in the game, which is something that's also happened for Auburn, is, not efficient either. So to win this game, I think Ole Miss is going to hang around. The score is going to be close, I think, the entire game. So this has to be a game that Auburn, comes out and is catching balls that are supposed to be called and making tackles in the backfield, one-on-one tackles. One of those games that you have to play damn near perfect just because Ole Miss is very capable of putting up 40 points.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to be a question of how many points does Auburn need to score to win this game, because Ole Miss is, like you said, they can very well go score 40, or Auburn can hold them to 20, and Ole Miss could still win the game with 21 points on the board. It's just like you said, they're going to have to play lights out. They're going to have to play efficient football, take care of the football, not turn the ball over, and just play their game. Auburn is number 27 in rushing yards per attempt in the country. I think they're averaging 5.1 yards per carry. And I think that's going to be something big to take away. I looked at the last 3 games that Ole Miss has played in terms of rushing. I should have included Alabama. I didn't, but against Arkansas, they gave up 350 yards on the ground. Against Tennessee, they gave up 222. And then last week, they only gave up 77 against LSU. Now, I think LSU is an outlier because LSU does not have a mobile quarterback. Now, can he run? Yeah, but he's not truly a mobile quarterback like KJ Jefferson or I can't remember Tennessee's quarterback right now. It's not Hadley. Hadley's the one that's transferring.
This quarterback, he's a transfer too. I just don't remember where from.
Yeah. Well, anyway, when you compare the Alabama, Arkansas, and Tennessee to LSU, LSU, again, only ran for 77 yards against Ole Miss. I think it's an outlier because they didn't really have a quarterback that could beat Ole Miss's defense with his feet. Bo Nix fits into that category. Bo Nix can make enough plays with his feet to give Ole Miss defenses problem. And then Auburn's coming off a bye week. They've had a lot of a lot of time to rest and get ready for this game. Um, I think when you look at Michigan State and Michigan State coming off a bye week doesn't help them as much as it does Auburn in this situation in this football game.
Yeah, I agree. I think Bo Nix is gonna have to have a couple of those plays to keep it alive. And this is one of those games that you look at a field goal is a stop. I think if you
Yeah,
can hold either team, Auburn to a couple field goals early, or Ole Miss to a couple field goals early, and try to create that 8 to 12 point gap. I think either one of these teams are capable of maintaining that. It might slip to 4, after a touchdown, or 7 or something, or jump right back out to 12 to 14. But Auburn is going to have to live up to the hype that their defense was supposed to have at the beginning of the season. Really didn't see it kick in until LSU game, second half. So this is by far the toughest test I think they've had yet, especially from a quarterback position. Ole Miss is very balanced, and on top of being very balanced, they have arguably the Heisman front runner in the nation right now for a reason. Number 2 offense in the nation. So I look for this game to be one of those that doesn't really favor either team the whole game. It's just going to be a big momentum shift. This play, that play, this play, that play. So for Ole Miss to win this game, I think like I said, they have to create those 3-point stops and keep it out of the hands of Auburn.
yeah, and like you said earlier, they had 11 drops against LSU. Drops has been
Yeah,
an
I
issue.
want to say it was around that. Was it LSU or Georgia State or who? Georgia Southern.
Both. It was both.
Yeah.
They had drops because they had a lot of drops in that Georgia State game. Yeah, Georgia State. Um, and then they fired the receivers coach, and then like 2 weeks later or the week later against LSU, they had 10 drops again. So I mean, it didn't make sense to fire him because he was not the problem. Obviously, it showed.
Yeah.
Um, but something I just noticed: Matt Corral is actually the leading rusher for Ole Miss with 474 yards, 9 touchdowns. But on the flip side of that, Bo Nix, to go back to him not necessarily being the problem because of how many drops, he's only turned the ball over 2 times all year. 2 times in 7 games is pretty daggum good, especially playing in the SEC. And when you're not turning the ball over, that's how you're going to win football games. But the one thing that stands out to me is Auburn was able to go into Fayetteville and beat a good Arkansas football team, but a beat down Arkansas football team. Before Auburn went on the road to Fayetteville, and to beat Arkansas, Arkansas had played Texas A&M, Georgia, and Ole Miss 3 weeks in a row. Ole Miss, their last 4 have played Alabama, Arkansas, Tennessee, and LSU. That's not a easy stretch. That is a stretch that's going to wear you down. And that's kind of why I touched on earlier why I think the bye week benefits Auburn a lot, because Auburn was trending in the right direction before the bye week. I mean, the bye week is only going to give you a chance to get better. It's going to give you a chance to rest. It's going to, if you're going in the right direction heading into a bye week, the bye week is only going to help you like tenfold, basically.
Yep.
I like Auburn a lot. I like Auburn to win. Auburn's 2.5-point favorites. The amount of times a game is finished by 2 points or less, very slim. So I like Auburn to cover for that reason. Minus 140 money line. What do you think?
I'm gonna take a little different route than you. I like Ole Miss to create that mid fourth quarter mistake that leads to that 10, 12 point lead. That kind of is just too hard to overcome. I think if Auburn is leading going into the fourth quarter, I think they're good enough to maintain that lead, whether it be answering touchdowns or getting 3 and outs or whatever. But if you can get Ole Miss into a frantic state where they have to throw on, 3 downs in a row or whatever, I think Auburn has a really good chance. But that's not how I see it going. I just see Ole Miss, being too much, especially if there's some Auburn players missing, which has apparently been a rumor this week. So some of them will be defensive starters, but that's not confirmed nor true. It's just rumored. So either way, I like Ole Miss in this one. I think it's kind of like a mediocre shootout, low 30s, high 20s, mid 30s. A game. I like Ole Miss by score.
I think it's a one-score game, and like I said, I think Auburn wins it, which is basically why I'm taking them to cover because, like I said, the amount of games that finish within, we'll say less than 3 points is what would you say? Less than 15% every week, probably less than 10. So I like Auburn at home, really. But you mentioned this. What do you over under sets at 66? What do you? I'm leaning the under.
Yeah, I think the under would be, if you're putting money on the line, I think 66 is um, real risky. So I like the under on that for sure.
Gotcha. Well, all right. Well, that'll do it for all of our preview videos for week number 9. All 6 are posted on our YouTube channel. So if you're watching this one, you made it this far, you can go click on our channel and check out the other games we have covered. You can hit the subscribe button so you can watch our NFL videos that we do, our fantasy stuff, and then our recap videos for the rest of the season or preview videos for the rest of the season. Matt, anything else to look out for in week number 9 in general?
That's what I was searching right here just to make sure we didn't miss anything. Fun fact, me and Gage talked about this earlier. So the last, what was it, 6 times or every single time that the Atlanta Braves have been in the World Series, Florida has beaten Georgia.
Yep.
And we kind of joked around, about how it could possibly happen there for about 2 minutes, and at the same time we text each other, but it's not going to happen.
Yeah, it's not going to happen. Just like, hey, Aaron Rodgers and the Packers are 6-0 without Devontae Adams, and it's like, hey, it's just Devontae Adams. I'll still take the Packers, but then it's like, well, Lazard's out too. Yeah, we'll still take the Packers.
Yeah. So one more thing I wanted to touch on too is watch for a Tar Heel upset this weekend.
Yep, I agree. Cause North Carolina is just like, yeah, a score 40, score 50.
Yeah.
So I agree with you, but yeah, that'll wrap it up, guys. Thank you guys for tuning in. Interact with us on social media. Leave your comments or leave your prediction in the comment for Ole Miss Auburn. What do you think on the over/under? You taking it? Let us know. Thanks, guys.